Now let's talk about DIO suspension for a moment. Now, I'm not real great on suspension, but I can tell you why I use a rear shock like this Prodigy here and these front shocks, which are this is a Showa. There is a small left-hand shock in diameter, and on the other side is the main shock, and it's one big bitch. You can see how big it is, and it's adjustable. Alright, so you ask, well, why do you put on those shocks besides that they match your paint scheme? That's a good question. Let me tell you why I use different suspension for my bike. Now, suppose you're running down the street 60 miles an hour or 90 kilometers an hour, and you hit a dip in the road. So you're going along and you hit a dip. What happens is all my weight and the bike compress. The shock actually compresses right here while I'm going through there. Now, with an ordinary shock, what happens is when I come along and I hit that dip, I'll hit that dip at 60, 65 miles an hour, and all of a sudden, pop. The bike wants to pop up. Now, if the bike pops up out of control, then I'm screwed, blued, and tattooed, because I'm going to have a really, really bad case of concrete poisoning or asphalt poisoning. So what I did was I put this rear shock on, and it's a lot better than the stock one. As far as, this is a stock one right here. You can see it right down in the bottom. The stock one is great for piddling around at 35 miles an hour and if I weighed 150 pounds. But at high speeds, that's the problem. I have a lot more stability with this type of shock. The reason I put this one back on is because of the larger Pirelli rear tire that I've put on. It's just too wide for this area right here. It's too wide. The tire rubs right along here, and so I had to use that smaller spring. Now I'm going to give that a try and see what happens. It may work, may not, who knows. On the front shocks here, these Showas have been really good for me. For high-speed riding, they keep the bike rigid so that I'm not flying all over the place. You ever seen a motocross rider when they hit a whoop-de-doo and they hit it the wrong way and the bike bounces straight up and then they go right over the handlebars and ruins their day? Well, that's what can happen, except you land on the concrete and it can really ruin your day. And suspension plays a big part in road racing, where all of your cars they go around a track on the left-hand side one way. All the shocks are set up on the left-hand side, and the suspensions are set up for cornering. But here, these suspensions are set up for a straight line. Now, the one thing I did notice, which is kind of cool, is I got a gentleman from Finland took me to a Canadian site, and you can actually get a shock extender right here, which is about an inch, and then they have one that's an inch and a half, I think. It's all in millimeters. Fuck, I don't know about millimeters. You could tell me it's a billion millimeters or it's 4 millimeters. I couldn't tell you exactly how much that is, because everything we do in America is in inches. It's just the way I was taught. Probably the metric system is better, but it's not better for me because I don't understand it. We do everything in inches, cubic inches, everything. So that's my take on suspension. For now. And then we'll get back to the gyro.